Hey guys, it's Michelle. So I couldn't find the video of me starting out the gantry where I explained what I was about to do. So I'm just gonna voice over it for a short while. So basically this first portion of the time lapse is just me starting to assemble the aluminum extrusion. Just going out, well, me just starting out. So taking the two extrusion, putting the T-nuts and the 3D printed brackets. And later on I will have videos where I do talk and explain. If you do like the little mini series that I'm creating, please like and subscribe. It'll help me a lot. Trying to get to that first 1,000 subscribers. And I do want to show most of what I'm doing, but I don't really go into much detail yet because I'm not an expert in many of these different steps that I'm taking. So basically, I'm just taking it kind of relaxed for explaining details until I really get to know how it works. And at the very end, when I do finish the project, I will try to make a 1 or 2 part series of dissecting different parts of the machine that I did not understand at first, and I will explain it in a little bit more detail for everybody that does want to move forward with a project like this. Like, for example, at first I didn't really understand much on the stepper motors, so I didn't go into much detail on the steppers. But now that I understand a bit more on them, I can go more into detail. So over here, you're gonna see me putting the caps on the holes for the linear rails, and you see me moving the bearing over it. I was just inserting the caps and making sure that the bearings weren't hitting them when they were moving over, since basically the linear bearings do have a wiper on it, and if you leave them too high, the cap will hit the wiper and eventually eat the wiper or like ruin your bearing, and then dust will go in and cause a whole bunch of other problems. So just don't forget to tap them in a bit just so they're sub flush. I mean, flush is fine also, but you don't want at the same time to be you don't want to be hitting anything with your bearings by accident over time and causing them to go bad premature. Hey guys, so here's the two pieces of 20 by 40 aluminum together, held together by these plastic brackets here. Probably gonna try to see what's the gap I have here to screw it, together in the front, just so it doesn't flex like it does now. I got my two bearings installed, so it's not too bad. Starting to weigh a lot. So they all ride nicely. I put the caps where there's going to be no screws, and I'm just missing a couple screws. I'm gonna have to order some since this is a kit that I've had for a while, and I never really only used some of them sometimes, and so I'm gonna need some more M5 screws, some more nuts here, some T-nuts. I added some of my 3D printed stoppers so that the bearings can't fall off for the moment, because eventually it'll be a limit switch and it'll stop by an activated limit switch. So these are basically locked in place with the screw up here, and they have a gap for the grease nozzle. So that's that. I'm going to probably 3D print like a pretty large faceplate, or I'm either gonna cut it out of some steel here, maybe use this plate, I don't know yet. Basically I want a pretty good face. Basically I only want to be able to cut 48 inches, so I'm gonna measure the travel that I get at whatever distance I put these at. So if I put them like 5 inches apart, and I have, let's say with the stoppers, 57 inches of travel, and I put a 5-inch plate, well, I want to at least have 50 inches of travel in total. So still have to draw up a plate. Basically I made this well, I took somebody else's part and I added these two little holes here for putting some M6 screws on the back end of this to be able to mount the ball screw. So basically this goes on the side that has the mount for the motor. I'm supposed to take out this bearing, screw it in here with inserts, and put the bearings in here in this surface. And then the motor is supposed to mount to this surface, but I'm not very confident. My printer is has a harder time with bigger prints, but this is a 7-wall thick print, so I mean, I don't think it's gonna break. It's just that the holes here are not blind. Well, these are blind holes, and when I went to go remove the infill here, like this one, it was fine because I could just punch it through, but this one I couldn't pull it out clean, and underneath there's supposed to be like a gap here. So this is all infill here, and it's like stuck to the part, and these ends are supposed to be up. So I mean, that could be played to my advantage for being a larger flat surface, but this was like supposed to be, if I flip this over, kind of bolted like this. And since these bolt holes don't match the 20 by 40 rails, so if I match them here, you see that on the bottom it doesn't come up aligned. So what I did is I put some new holes in the parts for 2 holes to match, and this would be like hanging over the extrusion like this with the motor on the end. So I think this could be strong enough with the 7-wall print, but I mean, that is a pretty thin cross section there to be hoping for it to hold. So I have to redesign that part, make some new brackets, like I said, to be able to have a 2-section like this in the middle on the other side. I lost a snap ring, so I have to find that. A couple things like that. So now I'll be working on the side rails. So these, I'm gonna have 2 side rails here that will be for the sides of the machine that this is gonna ride on, and the last piece is gonna be the part that's gonna be underneath of this. So basically you're going to have the two rails going perpendicular on each side, and then underneath there'll be another piece of extrusion where the ball screw will be mounted to move the whole gantry up and down, well, on the x-axis. And these will be my y-axis, and then the z, I still don't know how I'm going to do it yet. I talked about maybe mounting a piece of extrusion onto the face here on the bracket that's going to go here, and then mounting a piece of 2040 and just mounting this on it, go up and down. I mean, I don't have any problems with that. I mean, it's just a small part, and it's just for a couple inches of travel just to be able to lift the part off the metal, and if ever I have to do like some 2-inch by 2-inch tubes, cut some holes in that, at least I have you know, a little bit of height to be able to clear those tubes. So yeah, so this came with a lot of oil on it. I won't take it off, I won't clean it, don't want it to rust. Right now, next step is waiting for some of these screws, like I could continue on those ones and redesign some parts to keep mounting stuff together. Pretty happy with the stoppers. Can't wait to actually mount this axis up. It does weigh quite a lot more than what I thought it was going to weigh, so glad I went with those bigger stepper motors, and I'll leave you guys to that. So the filming is a little slower than usual. Basically, I'm going one step at a time. So right now, I got to fit this ball screw onto this aluminum extrusion. And for that, I'm taking one of the dimensions for these, making a bracket on the printer, and adding the two holes here that you see for these. So basically, I printed this up to yesterday. So today I'm going to put the inserts in this piece of plastic, then screw this to the extrusion, and then screw this onto here. And then if that seems to work not too bad, I'm going to go draw up one for this side. This side just has, you know, an extra set of holes. And then from there, I'll be able to take some measurements and be able to cut up or make another bracket, but most likely just cut up some of this plate here. I got some 3/16 plate that I will be mounting to the sides of the gantry, which will also house this motor here. So basically the motor is going to be mounted on that plate, which will hopefully all be encapsulated in one huge unit. Hello everybody, it's Michel again. I didn't really record much of this part. I think I maybe recorded this assembly or something like that. But I was having a lot of problems finding like right size bolts and stuff like that. Like, you know, this one, it just doesn't fit. And then I was able to find like normal like hex cap screws, but it's not what I wanted. I really wanted these. Also had to design. I found this online. It didn't really fit. So I basically drew myself one out, and just to use the base block. So basically the block is bolted to the plate using these heat inserts, and then using T-nuts, the plastic plate is bolted to the extrusion. So right now it's basically I went off some bearing blocks dimensions off the internet, and the NEMA 23 dimension using the extrusion dimensions, and I basically drew myself something in FreeCAD and then printed it up on my 3D printer. It's pretty much like the most complicated part I've ever drew on FreeCAD. And on the other side, it's same principle, two heat inserts with 4 nuts, T-nuts underneath to tie down like a bit like this, but with nuts. And then basically the spacer, the reason why it's so much thicker was to be able to mount the motor kind of like flush because basically if I was just going to mount this directly to that, this would be sub flush to the actual extrusion. So now that this is done, like this top piece is done, the gantry's pretty much done. I think I have a couple extra screws for my bearings on the bottom, and then this piece is complete. I'm just gonna have to add limit switches, which I mean, I'm not there yet, so I'll worry about that another day. But today I got my cable chains, and I got a little bit more organization stuff, a lot more of my bolts. So I'm trying to buy a few different kits, M6, this is M543. Just to have some extra bolts like that while I'm assembling, I don't start running out. Pretty happy with the result on this one. Give me a second. And that is the gantry sideways, which is going to be, I think, its final position on the machine. So basically everything here is mounted flush. And I bought some steel plate here that I will be cutting out my the side brackets. Then I'll have to add some reinforcements to the sides in the form of probably just a welded another piece of flat, but perpendicular, to add some strength so it doesn't wobble sideways when these get to the when the motor is going to be doing this. I'm not saying that it's a 3D printer, but just so it doesn't jerk and wobble and make some ugly cuts. So basically I won't be worrying about the Z-axis or the actual piece that'll go on the gantry for now, because I need to design a plate that's going to accommodate being bolted to this, bolted to that at the same time, with the spacing. So for right now, this part is done. I got a little bit more electrical to do in the panel, but that'll probably wait until I do the base. So I told myself I was going to be using this for the base, but finally I'm going to change my idea. I'm going to use this for the legs. So I'm going to make myself a tube frame out of 2 beams, square 2 beams, and then that's going to rest on that, on the green, like this stuff. And then I'm going to start assembling the side rails, and then I'm going to design the side brackets to mount the gantry on top of, and then I'll be able to button up a lot of stuff, because I did buy myself I don't know if it's any good, but I did buy like a little water separator unit. There's already one on the plasma cutter, but I'm pretty sure that is not sufficient. I did not return the plasma cutter yet. So a lot of things going on at the same time. New work. Trying to find bolts. I basically spent 2 days looking for the right size socket head cap screw for this project, and I was only able to find 4. And now I need to find 2 more, obviously. Other things, really, basically this is designed. When I'm going to make this side bracket, I'm probably going to want to create something so I could use these holes to give this some solidity, because I don't want this wobbling. It doesn't really wobble at the moment, but this is only plastic, so I mean it is 7 or 8 wall thickness, but I don't want to depend on plastic to hold up my stuff. But for the moment, while this project is still just a project, I'm gonna 3D print a lot of the quirky items, and once this setup actually starts making me money, I could, I already have the drawings, I just have to send them to get made out of a piece of aluminum or steel or, anything like that. So like these will be just a piece of metal with a with, with a threaded hole instead of having a heat insert. These will be, all threaded holes. So I'll have threaded holes to bolt my mortar to. Same thing with these. These could be well, not, these won't be threaded, but what this bolts into the plastic piece here will be threaded. So everything's going to come as an upgrade over time. I'm really happy that it's starting to take shape. I mean, first everything was just a pile of metal and ball screw and bearings, kind of like this here with the ball screws and bearings here, aluminum extrusion here. And now I actually have like an assembled piece. So I'm really happy with how it looks. Can't wait to start actually putting up the machine and having it work. But have a good evening.